It was March 13th, 1963. Phoenix, Arizona. Police officers picked up a 23-year-old man named Ernesto Miranda in connection with the kidnapping and rape of an 18-year-old woman. The young woman had been abducted 10 days earlier. She described her attacker, and though the details were limited, police had a lead. They tracked Miranda based on a description and some circumstantial evidence. They brought him in for questioning, not under arrest, just for a talk. But what happened next would shake the foundation of the U.S. justice system. Miranda was taken to interrogation room number 2. No lawyer was called. No rights were read. He was questioned for 2 hours. Detectives said Miranda confessed voluntarily. He even signed a written confession that included a typed note. I do hereby swear that I make this statement voluntarily and of my own free will. But Miranda had a 9th-grade education, some mental health issues, and no idea what rights he had. He never asked for a lawyer, but he also didn't know he was allowed to. The case went to trial in Maricopa County Superior Court. Prosecutors used the signed confession as key evidence. The jury found Miranda guilty of rape and kidnapping. He was sentenced to 20 to 30 years in prison. But Miranda's court-appointed lawyer, Alvin Moore, knew something was wrong. He argued Miranda didn't know his rights. The confession shouldn't count. The case went up to the Arizona Supreme Court, but they upheld the conviction. So Moore went higher, to the United States Supreme Court. In 1966, the justices agreed to hear Miranda versus Arizona. But this wasn't just about Ernesto Miranda anymore. This was about every person accused of a crime. Every person brought into an interrogation room. Every confession ever made in custody. The arguments were fierce. On one side, the state of Arizona claimed the confession was voluntary. On the other side, Miranda's lawyers argued that without knowing his rights, no confession could be truly fair. Chief Justice Earl Warren, a former prosecutor himself, delivered the opinion of the court in a 5-4 decision. The prosecution may not use statements stemming from custodial interrogation unless it demonstrates the use of procedural safeguards, effective to secure the privilege against self-incrimination. In simple terms, no confession is valid unless the suspect knows their rights and waives them knowingly. This decision created what is now called the Miranda warning. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney. If you cannot afford one, one will be provided for you. Ernesto Miranda's conviction was overturned, but justice didn't end there. He was retried without the confession. This time, the prosecution relied on other evidence, like witness testimony. He was convicted again and sentenced to 20 to 30 years. Miranda was released on parole in 1972. He lived a troubled life afterward, making money signing Miranda warning cards for police officers and fans. But fate had one final twist. On January 31st, 1976, Ernesto Miranda was stabbed to death in a bar fight in Phoenix. The suspect who was arrested was read his Miranda rights. A tragic end. To a man whose name became a symbol of protection for every American. Miranda versus Arizona, 1966, changed the justice system forever. From now on, no one could be forced to confess without knowing the law was on their side. A case that began in silence gave every citizen the right to remain silent.